Hey guys, I'm back. Movie Nerd is back. I am so sorry for the late post here on YouTube. I've been so busy with work and school. I've been going through a lot these past couple of months, and to be quite honest with you guys, I've been meaning to post a video, but I've been caught up with a lot of things with work and school. I'm a senior now at a university. I will be graduating, hopefully, God willing, by May of next year. And then by then I'll pursue more of my career and pursue more into posting more videos for you guys too, if I have any free time available. But I am so sorry. I've been caught up with school and work, and now since I'm starting a new semester at the university, I'm planning on posting the videos as soon as I can because I know how stressful school can be. I wanted to let you guys know that I know a lot of movies came out during the summer, and then by August it started to get slow and there was not many good movies out during August, but during June and July, that was the more popular months of movies and stuff in the movie theaters. So what I'm going to do now is going to give you a quick summer roundup of all the movies I saw during the summer after Spider-Man Homecoming, which I think was my last movie review. So without all that out of the way, let's get out with this new summer roundup movie review. So here we go. Number one I have on my list is that I saw War for the Planet of the Apes, and War for the Planet of the Apes is directed by Matt Reeves, and it stars the wonderful Andy Serkis. And guys, I had such high hopes for this movie. I had such high expectations for this movie after I saw, of course, Rise and Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. And I really like what they're doing now with this whole remake of the Planet of the Apes franchise, and I think the reason why is because of Andy Serkis, the introduction of Caesar in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and you get more of a personal, intimate relationship with Caesar. And then by Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, you start to realize the kind of leader he is. You start to understand his ideologies, his philosophies with his rule, and he's not a ruthless dictator, but he's understandable. He appears human when he's not human. So I think these two movies with Rise and Dawn really capitalizes all of the unique elements that creates and embodies Caesar. So with War for the Planet of the Apes, I expected nothing less. I expected explosions and great drama scenes and great development with Andy Serkis. And I got just that, even more. This movie surpassed all of my expectations. Caesar's older now, he has a family, and he's trying to look after not just for his family, but his community, his people. And so, with War for the Planet of the Apes, I feel that this film really utilizes not just his personality, his philosophies, his ideologies, and his different outlooks on life, but also really draws the importance of coming together with unity and how everything within this world can be divided so easily and hatred can be spread so easily. But what really unites us all is love. I know I'm going all philosophical, but still, this movie really drew to me and I was so emotionally drawn. This is easily, by far, one of the best of the trilogy, in my opinion. I love Rise and Dawn, but War was so impactful. It was immersive. I loved it from start to finish. I'm going to give War for the Planet of the Apes an A+. Next up we have Dunkirk, which was directed by none other than Christopher Nolan. Now, I was pushing to have a solo movie review for Dunkirk in this channel, but as I said before, I was so busy with work and school, but I had the pleasure to see an advanced screening of it, and I managed to bump into Christopher Nolan and the cast and crew of the film. But I wish I had a picture with him, but his security guard kind of backed me away and everyone else. But it's understandable. But the premiere was electric. The energy of the crowd was so immersive. It was so great. And what I liked a lot about Dunkirk was that Dunkirk is Christopher Nolan's first ever war film, which explains about the evacuation of all these soldiers in Dunkirk and the beaches of France during World War II. Dunkirk, to me, was really how you're expecting a lot when it comes into a war drama, like Pearl Harbor or Hacksaw Ridge or Saving Private Ryan. But with Dunkirk, it was the complete opposite. You were thrown into the middle of all the action. You were thrown into 3 different timelines and 3 different places. You were thrown into the sandy beaches and then towards the water, then towards the air. So you had 3 different perspectives. Dunkirk really explained a lot. For me, was that It's all about survival. And what I liked a lot about this film was that the music, it was the perfect blend with the story. And I want to say more because the movie itself really drew into me. The intensity, the suspense. I was gripping into my knees, hoping for these guys to get out of these beaches and not go through all that explosion, all that mayhem that goes on during these war films. But I was really excited to see that Christopher Nolan really explored this side of himself creatively when it comes into a war film. I really liked what he did with all of the moments in the film. There's not much character development, as I said earlier. This film really draws upon what you would expect if you were thrown into this situation, if you were thrown into these experiences. And what I liked a lot, of course, was the cinematography and the music with Hans Zimmer. His music swept me off my feet. I loved everything he did with this film. It was intense. It had so much suspense and tension. I loved every moment of it. And I'm going to give Dunkirk an A. Atomic Blonde was directed by David Leitch and stars Charlize Theron, James McAvoy, and John Goodman. What I got out of this film was that it was a great attempt, but not... It didn't drew me as much as I wanted to. It didn't really capture my attention. What I mean to say is that there was a lot going into this film. I remember before its release, there was a lot of comparisons with this one and John Wick. And I love John Wick. Atomic Blonde was nothing like John Wick. It was more of a spy thriller, obtaining intelligence and figuring out who sold who out. It was pretty much a cat and mouse kind of game, and you're trying to figure out along the way. But the way the story is told in the plot, I really didn't understand why they would go towards flashback scenes and then abruptly go into an interrogation scene with Charlize Theron and John Goodman. It didn't really interest me when they were interrogating her and trying to figure out more what happened during those days when she was in Germany. I really didn't like how the story kind of went black in flashbacks and then goes towards the interrogation room and then goes back into the flashbacks with music blasting, and then it's so abrasive, it's so loud that sometimes I couldn't understand what the characters were saying because the music was overlapping the dialogue. The fighting sequences, of course, was the one that stole the film. I love the staircase fight sequence in Atomic Blonde. It was by far one of the best ones in the whole film, but of course the music and the story and the character development wasn't as much as I anticipated. Charlize Theron did a remarkable job with this film, and so did Sofia Boutella. But Sofia Boutella and Charlize Theron both were in a film that I don't think they needed to be. You know, I think Atomic Blonde could have been a different actress, and it could have somehow conveyed the same meaning and same concepts. David Leitch, he was a stunt coordinator in the John Wick films, so I felt as if he drew his experiences and knowledge and background with the choreography and fight choreography, and it blended well with Atomic Blonde. But what I didn't really like, of course, was the interactions with the characters. There wasn't as much character development, and the ending was so abrupt. I didn't really like the ending as well. So I'm going to give Atomic Blonde a C+. Now, next up on my list is Annabelle Creation. Now, Annabelle Creation is directed by David F. Sandberg, and what I really liked about this film is that this is the same director who directed Lights Out. And I loved Lights Out. Lights Out was one of the biggest horror films I liked a lot last year. And of course, with The Conjuring 2 and Don't Breathe, those films to me really brought into this whole horror renaissance that we're seeing right now in theaters. So what I liked a lot about Annabelle Creation was that it explores, of course, the prequel or the background with Annabelle in the whole Conjuring universe. And this takes place, of course, before the events of The Conjuring. From the first 15 minutes of Annabelle Creation, I was blown away. I just loved what David did with his cinematography, his framing of each shot, and of course the sound design. The sound design in this film is the most scariest. It was so great. I loved a lot when it comes into the jump scares. The jump scares for me in horror films, I don't really like because sometimes it's used the wrong way. But with Annabelle Creation, the jump scares were used more effectively. So I don't really like how the jump scares in other horror films are used, but David S. Amber, he really understood what it meant to use the jump scares. So that's why I really liked a lot with this film. Of course, when they explore more of the background with Annabelle and they explain how this whole demonic entity first appeared, that's when it made more sense to me. I thought that the doll was possessed somehow from other means, but no, from the explanation of the doll, it really helped a lot to draw upon more interest in the film. So I had a blast with Annabelle Creation. I loved how they explained more of the background with Annabelle, but also I loved a lot when the director used more effective jump scares. The music was creepy, the cinematography was gorgeous to look at. I loved how everything came together and it all came full circle, because by the end of the film you start to realize more when it comes into the events leading up to The Conjuring 1. I loved what they're doing with this whole, I guess, cinematic universe, if you will. So I really like what they're doing now. I can't wait for the upcoming films that they have in slate with The Crooked Man and The Nun. So I'm going to give Annabelle Creation a B+. So guys, that wraps up my summer roundup film. I love to hear all your guys' favorite films. I can't wait to post more videos for you guys. Again, I'm so sorry for the late post, and I cannot wait to hear from you guys soon. Okay guys, peace out.